All right, everyone, welcome to another Wednesday in Westeros. This is episode 4, titled The Lone Star State. And we're going to start off, as usual, looking at events. I wanted to add in a little recap of some events, partly because of our special guest today, but also because I think it's a good thing to do in general. So, recapping some events recently, we've had the Clash at the Crossroads 3 in Camarillo, California. We've had the Richmond Open in Dawsville, Virginia. Here's a picture from Clash at the Crossroads. Awesome group of guys down there. And let's take a quick look at their event. So they had 12 players, with the Targaryens taking first and second place. And let's take a look at their list real quick. We have Grey Worm and Marcelin. Look at that. Interesting. And Grey Worm with 1 win, Marcelin with 2. And here we are, Unsullied, and Recaro and Screamer. So no weekend. I could have guessed that. And then we have Marcelin with Unsullied, and 2 dragons. So pretty much weekend tokens doing nothing there. All right. Moving on to we have the Richmond Open. There's our awesome picture for that group of guys there. And we have a 6-player with Martell taking the victory. Riley and their list, we have Oler and Oberyn. Double sand skirmishers and no sand skirmishers. Well, that's a surprising list. We'll have to look at that one at another time. I'm just kind of zipping through here. Then we have a couple others that aren't on my list. One was, well, not in pictures, no pictures, but one was the joining of the houses over in Salem, Oregon. They had a casual learn to play meetup, and they had a great showing. They were talking about it in their chat, but no pictures, unfortunately, to share there. And there wasn't a tournament, so no stats to look at. And then we also have, real quick, we have the Wardens of the Midwest. I think they do monthly. They have Rex Racer. I think if you guys are familiar, you know who this is. Think of Small Council Radio. And we have a Baratheon victory in this one. He has Stannis and Davos leading the charge there. And then we also have another monthly from Ender's Games with John and his Starks taking the victory. He was also undefeated at the tournament I went to recently. So John's doing well with his Starks down in Fresno. We have Eddard and Howland Reed leading the charge there. Awesome stuff. And now we get to the feature. I missed one more. We have May the Father Judge You Justly from Louisiana. And we have 6-player event with Chad Crowder winning with Greyjoys. All right. And if you guys didn't make this list, please feel free to drop me a line. Let me know what events are coming, what events just took place, if you want to have me review them or take a look at them. I'm not going to go into deep dives. I'm trying to make these weekly episodes pretty short. I don't want to have 2-hour episodes. But, maybe once I get more familiar with the tech and my new laptop that we got going here, then I'll do some more deep dives. But for now, let's introduce our special guest. And Will, why don't you introduce yourself and talk about why you're here?
Howdy, I'm Will. I'm kind of a community organizer for my local game store here in Central Texas. My main game is A Song of Ice and Fire, but I've run a lot of the stuff that they do for a little over a year now. I play Boltons as my main faction because the actor that played Ramsay in the show is one of my favorite actors, and that's about the only justification I have for having Boltons as my favorite faction. As far as factions that I actually want to play because they've got, decent rules, I play Renly Baratheon because, to me, nothing is funnier than putting 4 Rose Knights on the field, and I'm only 1 box away from being able to do that. I don't get to play as much of my events because I'm normally just doing the organizing side, though, so I just kind of play on our weekly wargaming nights.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to hop on here and share a little bit about yourself and your local community. Now, from my understanding, you guys are doing pretty well over in the Lone Star State. You want to talk about Battleground Collectibles real quick? I have their image up on screen.
Um, what was that about Battleground Collectibles?
Yeah, what's the story there with Battleground Collectibles in Belton, Texas?
Oh, so I used to have to drive from where I live in outside of a town called Temple up to Waco to play. And that's about a 45-minute drive. And when I was at a store up in Waco, I met a guy who was from my area and told me about a new store that'd be opening up in the area the following day. And he gave me the address. And the next day, the one second. Yeah, the next day I went to the address, and when I pulled up to the building, it was a gun range that I had shot at before, and I was a little confused because I knew what the building was. I had been there quite a few times. I walked up to the front door, thinking, maybe I was the one that was losing my mind, and there was one of those big like window sticky posters things, like a big Space Marine. And I figured, well, I guess I'm in the right spot because that's the first time I've seen a gun range with a Space Marine plastered across its glass door. I walked in and I walked around. I found the part of the building that used to be where the actual guns were sold. It was, the way the building is situated is kind of like a small mall. There's a big central hall, and then there's like rooms off to each side. And they turned the biggest of those rooms into a game store. I walked in and they had one little Games Workshop shelf, the metal shelf with the AOS and 40K stickers all over it, and like 20 boxes of Warhammer stuff, and like two booster packs of cards that you could buy from, and then a bunch of action figures. And I started talking to the owners about why there was a game store in their gun shop. And I guess the owner had one of the owners, yeah, one of the owners had always kind of collected Pokemon and Magic, and had started putting together some Warhammer stuff. But because he ran a gun range, which is an extremely time consuming business because the government throws every possible kink in your plans that they can. So you're constantly dealing with insurance and vendors and regulators, everything. He can never go anywhere and play any of the games that he was trying to get into. So he figured, what if I just bring the nerds to me, and then whenever I want to play a game, I can just pop down from my office. And his business partner that was helping him run the gun range was a collectibles guy. He had his side gig buying and selling action figures, mainly for like Marvel, DC, wrestling. So he went half in on it with him. He brought a bunch of his personal collection to stock the shelves with, just so there could be some product in there to start. And I went in and I was like, all right, well, I kind of know this business. I've been in it for, at the time, like 14 years now of playing and just, being immersed in nerd culture in general. So I kind of started walking them through, like, all right, here's how you set up a Discord server to get your community organized. Here's kind of what you need. You need, tables of this size. You're going to need mats. You're going to need terrain if you want people to play here. And the idea was always to be more of a hangout than a store. As long as the store could keep itself open, then it was great. And then we can put all the excess profit into just making it a great spot for the local community to come hang out. And so after, I've kind of just taken off from there. I run their Discord server. I set up all their events. Like, my wife actually works there now because I was there every weekend, and usually like Thursdays and Mondays too when they were open. And my wife tagged along and learned how to sort cards and play Magic, and got really into the culture as well. And they just kind of gave her a job since she was always there and always helping them sort their cards anyways. And now yeah, now I just do that. I'm still a factory worker, but now that's kind of my big thing outside of my real life, my family and church and my job and all that. Um, and our newest thing that we've kind of been trying out is a Saturday night wargaming thing. Basically organized play, because that seems to be the biggest role is organized play games. So every Saturday night we do like a $10 buy-in. You come, you play a small game of either like 40K, Age of Sigmar, Ice and Fire. It just depends on which Saturday it is because they rotate throughout the month. It's $10. You get one free mini at random upon entering, and then if you win your game against your randomly assigned opponent, then you get like a bigger mini. For Ice and Fire, it's usually like you get an infantry model for showing up, and you get a cavalry model if you win, or something like that. And for 40K and all the other games where the models come on sprues, I take home boxes from the store and I clip them out into individual bags and give them out that way. And it's working pretty well. I'm excited to see where it goes. We've only been doing it for 2 weeks now, and it's had a decent turnout. Or 3, 4 weeks. 4 weeks, but one of those weeks was my Ice and Fire tournament, so.
Well, that is awesome. So you show up randomly paired, and then you get a free mini when you enter and defeat your opponent. That is freaking sweet. What a great idea. Did that come from somewhere else, or is this a brand new, fresh idea?
I had so for a while, it got really frustrating because like nobody was coming into play. Like sales were great, the business was doing well, but I don't work there. I'm not financially invested in it. I want the place to succeed, but in the end, like I'm there to keep the community engaged and organized and active. So if the sales were great and the finances were great, but nobody was in there playing, I wasn't doing something right. And that's all I really cared about. So after like 2 or 3 months of having nobody come into the store for like the last 3 to 5 hours every Saturday, I just kind of figured, well, we need to do something different. And I noticed one of the guys, one of our regulars, he was running an escalation league for Warhammer, and it was in like its third or fourth month at the time. So they had gone, the first month was 500 points, the second month was 1,000, third 1,500, and so on. And I noticed that the turnout for that was really high, and the players were really active when it was at 500 points. And the second month, when the game sizes moved up to 1,000, I noticed that about half of those players stopped participating. And then the following month at 1,500 point lists, I noticed that half of the remaining players kind of just petered out and stopped participating. So I was like, all right, cool. People showed up for organized play, and they showed up the most when it was a smaller, quicker game that they didn't have to dedicate, you know, they didn't have to plan their weekend around playing a game. It could be something that they stop off and do either before or after dinner with their wife or, spending time with their kids for the night. And then for the prize support, I just stole the idea from what we were doing with Friday Night Magic. Being attached to a gun range, we can't actually do Friday Night Magic because that is like a trademarked thing from Wizards of the Coast, and they don't like us being attached to a gun range at all.
Ah,
So we kind of came up with our own thing where, and I don't know if this is our own thing. I think this idea got thrown around by the people that actually played Magic at the time, which I didn't. But now, and what we've been doing for the last year is you come in on Friday at 6 o'clock, you pay your $10, you get a free play booster pack of cards, one little like $5 to $10 packs of cards. You get to pick which one you want. You get assigned to a random pod because they all play Commander. And if you eliminate somebody from that pod over the course of your game, you get to take their pack. And if you win the entire pod outright, then you get a collector booster, which is, like the $25 to $30, the fancy pack of cards.
right.
Um, and so I kind of took that idea, and I was like, well, I know the wholesale cost of models. I know because I help them with every aspect of the business, so I know what the back end of all the pricing on everything is. So I kind of figured it out. I was like, $10 a person. If we set it to where like each game pops up every
I
two
want to know
weeks,
one thing.
I take
How does that make you
these kinds of
feel?
boxes of models home, separate them individually. If you have a box of like 20 models in it at $10 a person, and then the bigger ones that are given out, just kind of did the math and figured like, all right, this is something we can do. You get a model for showing up because people like getting things, which is, I do too. It makes sense. People like their free pack of cards for attending an event. It's cool to just get a random model that doesn't like go to one of your armies, so you can just paint it up and put it on display or something. And then I noticed after like a while, people in the Magic games weren't taking each other's packs when they eliminated them from the game, because I guess a lot of people complained about it. You would get ostracized if you said early on that you did intend to take somebody's pack after beating them. The rest of the pod would immediately turn on you, and you'd be targeted out of the game first, which I don't like. But it's not my store, so I can't do anything. So I was like, all right, cool. So I won't take that particular aspect from Friday Night Command, or what we call it, but I can take the other ones: the door prize, the door giveaway, whatever you want to call it, on entry, the random pairing, because people keep playing against they got their buddy, they're one person in Discord. They put out the looking for game, and it's like the same 3 or 4 people that are always in there that respond first. So this gives people a chance to all come in together. They know there'll be a game. They will play against somebody that they don't play against all the time, a faction they don't play against all the time. They get a cool model for showing up, and if they win, they get a bigger model, like a cavalry model, or like for the first Warhammer event, one of the winners got a whole rhino, which is like an armored personnel carrier. It looks like a brick with treads. And for this Saturday's, there'll be Terminator models given out. And for Ice and Fire, I've got Champions of the Stag and Dothraki Blood Riders as the models and Drowned Men that I've got as the prizes to give away to the winners.
Gotcha.
Pretty interesting. It drove up a lot of interest for turning out. The store was no longer completely empty on Saturday evenings.
There you go. Good. Awesome. All right. Well, so Battleground Collectibles is your home base. Let's go ahead and talk about the evolution of the community, I guess is the way to put it. So Texas is a very large state, in case anyone doesn't know, and you guys have how many? You think like pods of communities you have around that are active with the game?
With just Ice and Fire, um, 1, 2, 3, 4. I am currently not including the one for Battleground and not including the statewide Ice and Fire server. I'm currently in like 9 different servers, all different groups throughout the state, so that I could put the word out to as many Ice and Fire players in Texas as possible. And those are just the ones that I've found so far. It took a while to find a group up in Dallas and Fort Worth for whatever reason. But there's a lot of different small kind of isolated pockets of players throughout the state.
There you go. And so that brings us to your creation of Lone Star Ice and Fire Discord. You guys can find this link in the description of this live chat video, and this is bringing everyone together. Is that right?
Yeah. After a while of posting the same event link into every server I could find and having my friends do the same thing, it kind of just had the one of the guys that runs the group at a college station. He set up a statewide server called ASOIAF Texas, and the idea was the same as Lone Star is now, and it grew to an alright size. And then his account got hacked, and since he was the owner of the server, we couldn't do anything about it, so I just made Lone Star and put the post out everywhere. I found all the other local Discords to send the link out to, as long as those Discord moderators are cool with it, and it blew up to about twice the size of the first one, and people keep trickling in. And the main purpose is really the upcoming events tab at the very bottom of the server, to where you can go and there's a channel for each event that we're aware of in the state coming up. So we've got 5 right now from June through October.
Oh,
So
awesome.
anywhere in the state you are, you go there, and then you can see, like, you can go to like the June 14th Belt and Tourney tab. Whoever the tournament organizer for that is will have the Ice and Fire stats link to sign up,
Yeah.
along with like just talking about the event, things like that.
Very cool. I love that idea. I'm gonna have to steal it. Well, I guess we're gonna have to.
It's not my idea. I don't know exactly where it came from, but it probably came from either my friend David or my friend Clinton. I'm not an idea guy. I'm just I can appropriate people's ideas well enough.
There you go. Okay. Well, so speaking of which, so upcoming we have. Well, actually, before we get to upcoming, let's take a look at your recent event. So we have, what was it called? The name of it was Battleground Collectibles: A Song of Ice and Fire Tourney #2. So maybe talk about your first one. How did the first tourney go? And then we'll
First
talk.
tourney went really well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was about 50-50 split between my local crew and out of towners, mainly from like Houston, College Station, because those are probably the two other most active groups. They're probably more active than my Belton scene because they've got some very hardworking and dedicated community organizers out there.
Cool.
But they're people that I kind of met online, and they made the trip out to see the store, and they liked it, so they spread the word of all of our events to their local scenes, and people came out from hours away for the first tournament. It went really well. Everybody had fun. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to keep doing this, and um, one that we had scheduled for February because, or not February, yeah, February because I wanted to keep them on an every 2 month schedule. The one we had scheduled for February fell through because of a conflict of scheduling at Battleground. So the second one got pushed back until April. It just so happened to fall on my birthday, which was cool. When I say just so happened, I mean I made sure it fell on my birthday because I'm the CEO. I can do whatever I want. I use my power.
Okay.
I absolutely abuse my power. It is the smallest amount of power that has ever gone to anybody's head, is being in charge of a very niche sect of nerds that play with very specific toys.
Hey, hey,
Um,
hey! Don't diminish your role. It's awesome.
um, But yeah, by the time the second tournament rolled around, like I had found in like entire other groups of players, like clubs that you had to like pay dues to a treasurer to be a member of, were emailing me out of nowhere and asking for details, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like people are finding out about this, and it's not even from anything I'm doing. They're just seeing the link on West Coast pairing because that's what I was using at the time. Back when Stats was allegedly going to be shut down, then it wasn't. And so I pulled out a bigger crowd for the second tournament, and it also went well. I'm not too stoked that 100% of my tournaments have been taken by Greyjoy players at this point, but I can't say they didn't earn it.
Do we have a
And
repeat?
so now I'm just
Did Mr. Ben win both, or was it a different Greyjoy
no.
player?
It was a different Greyjoy player, a buddy of mine called named JB. He and his friend that they both traveled for the event together, and one of JB played Greyjoys and his buddy played Martells, and they ended up facing off in the final table one, and I think it came down to like one dice roll.
Oh man, nice.
Uh,
Yeah, those are two
and
strong factions. I think the game's pretty balanced overall, actually. Even though Greyjoy's annoying me the most as well. But
I got a thing against Martell players, but that might that's probably just because I spam Rose Knights, and Martells are very good at turning off healing, and that's kind of my entire playstyle right now.
yeah, well, yeah, it's a two list format. Will it's a two list format. You gotta have a different list than just your Healy list for those Martell players.
Well,
But
see, I didn't really buy into Baratheons. I bought into Tyrells. So like when I got Baratheons, just because I wanted something to play around with outside of getting smashed as Boltons all the time. I was like, I don't really know about the Baratheon playstyle, but all these High Guard units have healing shenanigans, and that's the kind of hyper fixated playstyle that I can go for. And so that's what I did, and it's fun. All my local players absolutely hate it, um, but it is what it is. I've got to put up with their Greyjoy and Brotherhood shenanigans so they can put up with my healing.
absolutely. I mean, honestly, if you like healing, you might want to dip your toes into Greyjoy because holy cow, does Greyjoy heal like the most annoying amount in the world. But just browsing through these lists here so everyone can see them as we chat for the champion of this second event over in Belton, Texas. Ben Harris takes the win, and then we have Brotherhood Stark, Night's Watch with the follow-up, second, third, fourth. Nice, diverse faction standings here. It's really, really good, actually. Holy cow. Eight different factions for the top 8. Very nice. So speaking of this event, I'm gonna play something awesome. Was this you said that someone created this for you? Is that right?
Yeah, we have a videographer that we work with for all of our big events. Because we have like pro wrestling. Okay, that was loud. We have pro wrestlers come in and do like celebrity autograph signings and stuff. So we got a kind of a videographer that we have as our main guy, and I just texted him. I was like, "Hey, you want to come cover a tournament?" And he was like, "A tournament for what?" And I was like, "Well, a bunch of us grown men are gonna go play toys together competitively." And he was like, "Okay, sure." And so he came out, and it was interesting for him, but he got some really great footage. And so I now have, quite the folder of footage I can use to chop up and make ads and stuff because the owners of Battleground are more than happy to put like advertising money behind events that I put on. So.
Very cool. All right, so we're gonna play this real quick for everyone to watch. Here we go.
Okay, so your opponent chooses one tactic zone, and then I choose one tactic zone. The first time that tactic zone is claimed this round, before resolving the zone effects, the NCU that claimed that zone will lose all of their abilities, and then you target one, and then that player's opponent may target one colony and then become weakened. It's weakened, it changed.
Wow, that's a big change. Okay. That was like 2 vulnerable.
I believe so, I think so. I can't remember on the top of my head.
Okay. So I will choose.
This should hurt, right? We don't have
Alright, I'm gonna choose the horses. As my choice.
I will drop this here outside the 6.
If you wanted to borrow mine, you can.
That's fine.
I'll put stakes.
That was my bad. Hold on 1 second.
I'll go ahead and move up
Cool. Cat. Cat, so I take swords.
my.
I'm gonna give this to, I don't even know. These guys, just in case. Well, swords, they're gonna take a free shot onto them.
Alright.
Cool. They are going to shift. Okay, I'll take their shot.
Okay.
So 7 dice.
Well, that was awesome. So who we
Yeah, I
get
was very happy with how it came out.
who we giving credit to? Is this does this person want their name or like their business out there or
Yeah, give me a second.
sure. We'll put them in the description as well if you guys are looking for videographing in some capacity. So Ben Harrison Greyjoys takes it. Now, I didn't do like a recap. I was expecting, or I'm not sure if maybe he did for a Sunday Slaughter to do a recap on Adepticon. But Greyjoy also took Adepticons, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it was vampire themed Greyjoys by Benesh, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't have it up. I guess I could search for it real quick. Oh no, it's not on here. that's why. That's why I don't really know because it's not on. It wasn't on stats. So there you go. But Greyjoy's taking a
I
couple.
seem to have lost the business card.
That's okay. This. I didn't ask for you ahead of time, and that's my bad. There's no worries. Well, I can always add it to the description later on when we find it, so it's not a problem. So if you guys are interested, look for that down in the description soon. And so yeah, so Greyjoys take it, and we continue on with Battleground Collectible every other Saturday nights. And you guys have some upcoming events. So you guys have the next one coming up in June, June, June 14th in Belton. Anything special about that one? Another standard tourney, or what's going on with June 14th?
Yeah, standard tourney. I'm gonna look into incorporating like catering into the event and see if that is worth it. And with every event, I'm just trying something new to try to make the experience better for the players that show up because a lot of my players are driving from like 3+ hours away for a relatively small ice and fire tournament. So whatever I can do to try to make it the best experience possible. I like ideas, so anytime somebody gives me an idea, I think about it. Think about like the logistics of it on my end. And one thing that was requested was, would it be possible to have like a food truck in the parking lot of the building? And we already do that for all of our big events, so I thought I could do that, or I could reach out to one of my local restaurants and see if I could have them cater the event instead and incorporate food in the price of admission. But other than that, it'll still just be a 40-point tournament. We'll be making, our custom dice trays for first, second, third place again.
Cool.
Hopefully, no other updates or anything come out between now and then, so people actually get a little bit to play around with the meta.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. I think it's slated for like September or August or something like that. So, I mean, it's not really slated
Yeah, it shouldn't.
officially, but it's I think the idea is around 6 months for patches, but there's always such a disparity between people that play so much that they're ready for the next patch in a month, and then people that don't get to play very much, so they want it to last for a year, you know. So so it's kind of hard to make everyone happy with timing of patches, really. But cool.
Yeah.
So another event coming up. What else is on our docket? Anything else you want to mention, shout outs, or talk about as far as the Lone Star State and A Song of Ice and Fire goes?
July 5th, College Station. My buddy David's running a tournament. And then back to August 9th in Belton. I'll be running my next one, my every 2 month tournament. August 9th was originally going to be a 2-day, 7 round grand tournament, but we were still working out the logistics of all of that when another event in the state got announced before we could put out our official announcement. So we kind of just axed that idea until we could find another date to try it. So now it's just a normal tournament. And then the thing that got announced that caused us to change course in August 15th and 17th in Houston, BrawlCon. It's just a big gaming convention put on by some people that are just really passionate about wargaming.
Oh, that's
But that being
right.
a 2-day event, yeah, that being a
Sorry.
2-day event in Houston, Houston is where I would have expected to pull probably like a. One second.
Yeah, what was the con name again? Dang it. Brawl? Brawl.
My wife is getting up to shenanigans in the back of the house, and my fire alarm went off. So
Oh, shoot.
poked my head back there to see what that was about.
Oh, do you got to run or?
Nope. She told me not to worry about it. So
Okay. All right, so I found BrawlCon. So do we have some ice and fire happening there? Is that what the synopsis is?
yep.
Cool,
Yep.
cool. So brawlcon.com
and,
in case you guys are interested.
I'm gonna try my best to make it out there. I don't get to play at my own events, so I'm gonna start seeing if I can travel to other events in the state as a player.
Yeah. I know how that is.
But I knew Houston probably being like the biggest group of Ice and Fire players that I would need to pull from to fill 50 or so slots for a grand tournament. If they all had another event that they could go to the following week instead, that was right down the road, they probably wouldn't travel the 2 to 3 hours to come to my event the week prior to that. So we're just kind of trying to figure out a better time to do it. And right now I'm thinking like February, March, or April of 2026.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, get some really.
Because Nationals, Nationals being at the end of this year, I don't want it to be, within months of that either.
Oh, okay. Speaking of which, you guys have any interest, any Texas national attendees to look out for?
At least one that I know of is trying to make it. My buddy Clinton, who runs the scene down in College Station. So
Awesome.
he is trying to see if he can get anybody to go with him. I most likely can't because I got work that doesn't like me taking time off. There's nobody else in the factory that can do my job. So even when I am allowed to take some time off, it's usually like, I can tell the higher ups aren't happy with it.
Right.
And I like my job, so I don't want to tick any of them off.
That makes
if
sense.
something comes up and I am able to make it, like I get some extra vacation time or something, then I will do my best because I do want to go up and compete at nationals and all that and meet all the people I've been talking to. When we were deciding where nationals would be held this year, and then a lot of the CFAQ people too, because I'm on your recommendation. They reached out to me about joining the CFAQ committee. And I got accepted into that, so.
Sweet. You passed the test.
I did. They asked me like 2 questions.
Okay. two important questions.
I expected it to be like, here's a scenario, what would be your ruling if you were the judge? And instead it was like, how do you feel about the game right now? How do you feel about the CFAQ document as it stands? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think your document sucks and that all your rulings are wrong.
Yeah.
No, I read it. I talked to the guy for a little bit, and it's pretty neat. I really like the way that they go about making their rulings. It's a neat system, and it's very, very unlikely that a bad ruling will be passed down.
Yeah, I really am a fan as well. I didn't stick around when I was really involved just because of I guess I'm a sensitive guy, so when I get really into the nitty-gritty, I get kind of not overwhelmed, but like I lose the feeling of joy with the game when I get really into the super specifics, and then my brain goes to like, why isn't Simon fixing this? Like, and then the thought process that spirals in the wrong direction. But the group is fantastic, and the document is really, really well made. So I always recommend it for sure. So that's cool that you're on board.
I didn't even know what it was until they reached out to me about it. But then they sent me the link, and I read through it, and I'm like, this is so much better than the official FAQ. Like, I'm gonna start using this as my standard at all the tournaments I run. which by default would mean that that's just how the local community would play. But yeah, it's neat. I like seeing the members of that committee argue about the most minute details of how to properly play toys, because that kind of stuff is right up my alley.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so speaking of upcoming events, I'm just going to rattle through some. Will here just talked about upcoming in the Texas area, and I'm just going to mention May 17th, we have BC Provincials up in Canada, in Vancouver, Canada, so that's West Coast. Up there in Washington, you guys might be able to drive up there, who knows. I just want to mention that because our friends up there are doing a great job rallying their troops, and I wanted to give them a shout out. And then we have their big on the other side of the country, on the East Coast, the Canadian Nationals over in I can't pronounce that. I want to say it's Quebec, but yeah, it's right above New York. I think it's Quebec. And then on the 25th, just added one of our previous champions, Jared from Marysville, is guess what? Up and moving to Texas. Will you're gonna have a new player joining your ranks soon.
Did.
Go ahead.
I did talk to him a little bit. He's in the Lone Star server, and I saw mention that he'd be playing his final game in California soon. So, looking forward to welcoming him to the state. He's actually moving into the College Station area, so there will be an active Ice and Fire group for him to play with, and he'll only be about an hour and a half away from Belton, so he should be able to make the drive out to my events as well. He said he likes to travel for games, so I expect to actually get to meet him in person at some point.
Very awesome. Stellar dude, but also a stellar player, so watch out. Jared's farewell event
That's
is...
okay, I've got 4 Rose Knights.
Yeah, that's right. Man, that's so frustrating. All right, as long as I get to those tokens first, I'm fine. So that'll be May 25th.
What's crazy is when I ran the idea past my buddy, he told, because I have 3 Rose Knights units, and I've played them the last couple weekends, and my buddy, who is probably even more active than me as far as playing it at Battleground, he's in all the Ice and Fire Discords, and he was in like the main one. It's got a little icon of Robert Baratheon doing the laser eyes.
Oh yeah.
And he posted that, and he posted that in the Brotherhood channel of that one, and then he came back to me the next day, and he was like, "Just so you know, they called you a troglodyte for running that list." And apparently, they crapped all over me. They said that like that's not in the spirit of the game. That's like spamming the most broken units in 40K. That why are you even playing? But on the other end of the spectrum, when I posted the list on Facebook last night, all the responses were, "Wow, this list sucks."
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you're gonna get like very experienced players that can deal with that very easily. So it's
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you got 5-inch move in your army, like you can outplay me on the objectives.
Yeah. So
I just like to spam.
I'm gonna have to.
That's my thing. I hyper fixate on a play style.
No, we have a player. Shout out to Bob who does similar things. He makes a really good connection of synergy and then like duplicates it, and and he has really strong lists. I don't see anything wrong with that. But if I could request you to send in our private Discord chat the list that you're talking about, that'll be the list of the week. We'll talk about that in a second while I go through the rest of these upcoming events.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah, let me see.
June 7th, we have Miso's tournament, Louisville, Kentucky, Road to Nationals. So I believe that means he's going to use the buy-ins there to provide a entry ticket to Nationals. But talk to Miso and check out the link if you're interested. By the way, this whole presentation that you see on screen is linked in the description below. You can view it anytime. So then we have in August we have Wardens of the West 3. Let's go! Pacificon is shaping up to be an awesome event. I am frequently in touch with the GM, I guess, the game master / owner / general manager of the event, and he's got lots of good mini tournaments, war game tournaments. He's got Warlord games going to be there. There's going to be some more demos and some more vendors coming in. So When there's more news that I know about, I will share them. But right now, I believe we have we're almost in double digits for players for Pacificon Wardens of the West 3. So very exciting for that. There is the link to the stats for that. And what else am I missing? Wardens of the West 3. Where are you? Labor Day. That's right. Friday is going to be casuals. 2-day event, Saturday, Sunday. And here's the hotel link. That's the first thing that goes usually is those good hotel prices. So grab that first. Any questions about the con in general? There's emails right here. Tickets for our event. So this is how you get your discount. Is right here, and this is the description that it gives you, just so you can see it ahead of time. So that's Wardens of the West 3, and then we have in October we have the Bourbon City Brawl in Louisville, Kentucky, with a couple cool events. One being Who's the Boss, which I forget exactly how that goes, but I think you switch around commanders in different factions, I think. And then, of course, U.S. Nationals. If you haven't joined yet, get on the hype train. U.S. Nationals is going to be very, very awesome. We have such a great lineup of sponsors. Reaper Miniatures, Monument Hobbies, Tooth & Coast, Shire Postman, Elderwood Academy, Dark Sword Miniatures. Early Bird just ended. We have over 40 players coming. I got to change this. 40 players. Boop. And over 5 months to go, we have a list of awesome awards. We're very excited to celebrate the hobby side. We're going to have Best in Faction Painted Army. So we'll be giving out 11 or 12 Best Painted Army awards at Nationals, along with the 4 standard like Best Unit, Best Character types of awards. So lots of painting. If you paint your army for Nationals, period, you get a thank you prize just for doing it, just for finishing your army. So we're really celebrating the hobby. Yeah, we're really celebrating the hobby side there. And then of course there's I don't have it here on a slide, but we also have the 1st through 10th just for competition. We have a sportsmanship. We have wooden spoon. We have some door prizes just for walking in. So Jan over Brotherhood of Broken Banners has been kicking butt, emailing constantly different companies for prize support, and he's done such a great job. So the U.S. Nationals is not just going to be a great gathering of awesome people, but it's going to be pretty awesomely prized out as well. So Nationals, get on it. Adepticon again, a little shout out there. I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself. I don't want to take anything over, but I think this is confirmed now. These 4 players have won their way to Nationals from Adepticon. And again, just as a reminder, you can at any time, as a TO, hit us up and we will sell you an early bird priced entry as a prize for your event. But we are selling it. We're not giving it away. So we need you to still purchase it from your entry funds, right? So unfortunately, we're not. What is the term? We are not supported monetarily by CMON or anyone like that. Hopefully, we get some prizes from CMON. That's still a maybe. I know it's really tough right now out there to get stuff shipped into the U.S. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So list of the week. I'm going to delete all this. And let's take a look at some Rose Knight spam, because that's always fun. Let me go over here. Oh, perfect. A nice, just simple picture. I like that better. All right. List of the week. Ta-da. All right, talk us through it. Anything tricky?
No, not really. It's as straightforward as it seems. You got Rose Knights as all 4 of the combat units in this army. Deadly Bloom and Perseverance and Valor. So when you attack, you heal a wound. When you heal a wound, you deal a wound. That's the whole gimmick here. So the name of the game is as many instances of healing as you can possibly achieve in any given round. Gotcha. Is this a good list? I don't think so. My locals and my fellow Texas players seem to think that I'm a troglodyte, and it has been said on at least 2 occasions that the way that you deal with this list is you shake my hand and just refuse to play.
What? No.
Yes, I think it's a bit insane. I think that's a bit of an overreaction. So I can't wait to I got my 4th Rose Knight box coming in, and then I will immediately give this a shot.
Okay. So we have
So you got
Renly Commander.
Yep. He gives that really nice morale buff. He's like a walking weirwood. And then mainly his cards. I think like 2, if not 3 of his cards. Yeah, heal wounds.
Healing there.
Heals a wound on activating. Yeah, so all 3 of his commander cards heal to some degree, which, any instance of healing is enough to trigger the Rose Knight thing. They don't heal more per, wound restored. It's just, did you heal, yes or no, then you deal a wound. Especially if you can put the Baratheon quest card on it, or the Renly quest card on it, where they heal a wound on activation, is then you activate, heal a wound, deal a wound, and then you attack, healing a wound, dealing a wound. Those are the kind of shenanigans that we're going for here. You got the next unit with I think it's Parman the Purple. Parman the Purple, Rally Cry. When he attacks, he's gonna pass some healing over to his buddy to his left or his right.
So annoying.
So the idea is to keep the idea is to keep him kind of in the middle of the fight, so that wherever the fighting is going on, he can pass an extra instance of Rose Knight shenanigans around.
Yeah.
Gaiard the Green, Dauntless. Every time he passes a morale test, heal a wound. The idea is to try to keep him near Renly so that he's working with a base. He's
5?
working with a 4-up save.
Oh, 4.
Being next to
Okay.
Renly.
Yeah. All right.
And then just every time he attacks, he heals a wound and deals a wound. And when you attack him and he most likely passes his panic test, you're going to take a wound, not him.
Right.
And then you have Thornwatch Sentinel in the last unit, also just for Dauntless again. When you pass a morale test, you restore a wound. Furious Charge, I mean, maybe that'll help. Ignoring some keywords, I mean, it's a little bit of a mobility buff in a unit or in an army composed entirely of 4-inch move. So it can't hurt.
Right.
Marjorie Tyrell, she takes his own, she heals a wound. That's I'll be honest, I probably played a good dozen games before I realized that Marjorie also gives it a vulnerable token, because the only thing I cared about was that she could heal a wound.
Yeah.
It was a serious surprise to me when I looked down at the card and I saw that I get to place a vulnerable token. I was like, wow, I've not been utilizing this very well. Lord Varys, your opponent takes the bags, and now you get to heal as well and deal a wound. And then Shay, you spend the first, turn or 2 building up order tokens, and then for the rest of the game, every time she activates, guess what? You get to heal another wound. So every single thing in this list is either healing a wound or dealing damage when it gets healed a wound.
Okay. All right. I see the synergy. Also, Shay, funny enough, can weaken whoever is going after, what was it, Giard? Who has a counter-strike?
Yes.
I think it was Giard. The green has counter-strike. So that'll work.
Yes.
That'll come in handy also. Yeah. Cool. Very
What?
cool.
I didn't even think about that. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
Again, I'm looking at that first line of text that says, heal wound, Rose Knights go bonk.
Yep. Very cool. Well, there is our list of the week, folks. I mean, this is kind of like a throwback, because when Rose Knights were first on the scene, this was 4 Rose Knights was a thing. I'm not sure how long you've been playing, but it's kind of interesting to see it again with the new attachment rules and list building. So it's like, oh well, now that we get 4 free points, I can do my Rose Knights, and I've seen it not just from you. So there we go, guys. Rose Knights are back on the scene, and there's a couple more ways for them to do damage. I'm not sure in the Tyrell side of things if they can get faster or not, but I think Davos can on
really.
the Stannis side, but yeah, okay. Well, there you go. You have to maybe a tweak might be a Peter Baelish instead of Shay. I'm thinking, because you have enough healing. Maybe a Peter Baelish to double tap that maneuver zone or something like that. So, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I can always tinker with it, see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm just giving my thoughts off. I haven't seen it perform or anything like that, but have you tested it on Sim or anything like that?
No, I don't do Sim.
Okay, yeah, I've been doing it too much.
I live live out in the sticks in the middle of rural Texas. Like my internet connection's barely holding up enough to do this right now.
Oh, that's
My
right.
wife had to
That's
quit
right.
watching TV and playing on her iPad for me to do this.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Understood. Alrighty. Well, there we are. And another reminder about Wardens of the West 3. Let's get those tickets in, get hyped up. I got my own prize support email sent out, and I'll announce sponsors as we go. It's looking like to be a very fun time. And I think that might be, what am I missing? I think that's everything. Any final thoughts, sir?
No, that's about it. Just looking forward to seeing any news at all about the future of the game would be nice at this point.
Sure,
But other than
absolutely.
that, like whatever comes out, like my community's still gonna play. Like the models are everywhere, they're great. Um, yeah, there's really not a whole lot going on, into the future right now. So we're all just kind of playing what we got and hoping that we get some good news. And I've had the idea recently of maybe bringing up to the CFAQ committee that maybe we could possibly think about implementing like unofficial balance updates in the future if CMON doesn't continue
If they stop all
to.
that, yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
nice. Shake,
that's just an idea I've been mulling over.
yeah, keep it fresh.
But
Keep people interested. I would say
yeah,
in response to the possible, well, it's not possible. It's definitely currently happening. Zero hype for new things coming from Simon's end of things, and they made an article and announced why and all that kind of stuff. But you would have thought that they would have some stuff in their back pocket for a situation like this that they could, like I was dreaming that they had boxes of mounted hero, like a heroes box, but just completely mounted, like 4 mounted heroes for like most of the factions, because a lot of them
that would be cool.
a lot of them are kind of hurting hurting in the new list building rules because they don't have mounted in faction attachments. So like if you bring Cav, you're soaking up points and you can't spend your attachment points on them. So it would be cool if they did
Yeah, you're
that.
leaving that free point on the table.
Yeah, which sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's okay to
Yeah,
not use
like the
every.
list I just showed you, I think it only uses 3 points
Yeah,
of free attachment.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So anywho, there's this dry spell we're having. So I'm thinking like, what better time to maybe get in there and dig your nails into some campaign type of stuff. A league for your community. We're doing a monthly league right now, thanks to God's Grief. Pat, shout out to Pat and all he's doing to keep us trudging along in our local area. Um, Something like that is probably perfect time. So you can like dig in and do some custom scenarios, create a campaign, stuff like that. Is the game is still fantastic. The game is great. So if you need something fresh, there's tons of resources out there, and I don't have them with me at this moment, but there really is. They're in my Discord server at the minimum, in custom creations. There's some campaigns in there. Over at Boardman Gaming, I think he has his own website. Board as in BOARD, Boardman Gaming, has tons of fresh stuff for you if you guys are getting bored of what we have officially and want to explore some stuff. So just wanted to give a little positive juice to the end of this chat. And thank you, Will, once again for coming on. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Oh, final update is I have a layout done. I am ready to live stream some in-person games. I just couldn't find an opponent for today. So it won't be today, but very soon I will get a game on stream and get that going. And I'm very excited to do that. So until next time, you guys have a great week. Maybe 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing this every week or every other week. But I will chat with you guys soon. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye-bye.